Hello and welcome back to Rubicon's basement. Yep, much to my friend Steve's chagrin, I have both the washer and the dryer going today. But this is the only time I have the house to myself to share with you something I think is kind of neat for me. I kind of wanted to know why we all choose the names that we choose for either for email or specifically for YouTube. There's a couple that jump into my mind, like Oasis Rising. I mean, some things you can figure out, like Mr. Malorian, maybe his last name is Malorian. And I can't think of a whole bunch off the top of my head, but I'd really like to know from the viewers what your YouTube username means, if it has anything. Some people simply just use their own names, first and last name. Some people just throw anything in. Other people have some kind of meaning to their name. So mine is 999 Rubicon. It's not because I love my Jeep, but I'll share with you a little story. When I was washing dishes when I was about 16 or 17, I used to take my breaks out in this back stoop, and at the time, we had cassette tapes, and I had a little cassette player type thing, and with headphones and that. And I used to go out and take my break from washing dishes out in the back stoop. And my favorite band at the time was Journey, and I didn't like all the mainstream Journey songs, so I loved every song that they produced. Specifically like the B-sides of all the albums or cassettes that they made. And one of the songs that was on there was a song called Rubicon. And so I'll share with you, I'm not going to sing it because I'm probably a terrible singer, but the song goes like this. In this promised land, fire burning in our hands, the choice is ours to make. Realize your fantasy. You live the dream with every step you take. Stand tall, stand on the edge. Use the thin end of the wedge. The will to cast your fate. Don't turn around too late. Lose your ground if we hesitate. Burning youth won't wait. Make your move across the Rubicon. Future's knocking at your door. Take your time and choose the road you want. Opportunity is yours. See it all so clear. Time is right, time is near. We all know now what to do. All God's children learn which way to turn. Turning back, we're through. We all refuse to lose. Live life and light the fuse. Burning youth won't wait. So I heard this song, and for whatever, I was young. I don't know a whole lot. At the time, I didn't know a whole lot about history. But it kind of spoke to me, and it became one of my favorite songs, and I wore that part of the cassette tape out. If you get a chance, listen to it. I think it's either on, it might be on Frontiers album, or maybe Captured. I can't remember which one it is, but I really, really, really like that song. So then when computers became the vogue for communicating and that, you get your first email, and of course my email was Rubicon, and I used that for a while. When PlayStation 2 came out, you could play online. You were able to get out with the username, so of course my username was Rubicon. And by the time I got to recently, within the last 5 years, I've been using Rubicon 999 because I find that that's the only choices I have. I can go Rubicon 123 or Rubicon this, that, or the other. I chose 999 simply because when I looked up the history of this, it's kind of like when you're watching an odometer in your car and you got the 999 and the next click turns it, and then it turns it, if you got enough nines lined up, it turns it and it goes back to all zeros. So I'll tell you a little bit about Rubicon, what it really means, and I'm going to read these to you. I'm a history teacher, but I used to teach history. So let me explain this to you. The Rubicon is a shallow river in northeastern Italy, about 80 kilometers long, running from roughly these mountains to the sea, and encompasses a couple towns. And the Latin word rubico comes from the adjective rubeus, or meaning red. So the river was so named because its waters are colored red by mud deposits, and it was a key in protecting Rome from civil war. So this is where it gets interesting. The idiom crossing the Rubicon means to pass a point of no return, and it refers to Julius Caesar's army crossing the river Rubicon in 49 BC, which considered an act of insurrection. Because the course of the river has changed much since then, it's possible to confirm exactly where the Rubicon flowed, blah, 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 blah. So this is where Caesar says his famous Latin phrase, which I won't butcher, but it basically, when you cross the Rubicon, it means the die is cast. So, gaming, die, so it's kind of cool. But a little bit more in the history of this. I'll read through this real quickly. It's only like a page and a half, but read through it real quickly. During the Roman Republic, the river Rubicon marked the boundary between the Roman province of Gaul and northeastern Italy. On the northwestern side, it was bordered by another river. It flows from these mountains to those mountains. The important thing is here is the governors of these Roman provinces were appointed pro-magistrates of their regions, which is given the title of imperium, which means the right to command in their province. So the governors would serve as a general of their army within their territory of their province. So Roman law specified the only elected magistrates, not these guys outside with controlling their armies, controlling those provinces. Only elected ones could hold imperium, or the right to control, a right to command those armies in Italy. So any pro-magistrate who entered Italy at the head of his own troops forfeited his right to command, or imperium, and was therefore no longer legally allowed to command his troops. If you exercising imperium when forbidden by law was a capital offense, which basically means if you're a general of your army and you're in these provinces and you cross the Rubicon, you enter Italy still at the command, you've just broke the law. And it was a capital offense punishable by death. Furthermore, obeying the commands of a general who did not legally possess imperium, again, which means you have to be elected. You just can't be appointed the general there and come into Rome at the head of your troops. You have to be elected, and then you could still control. If you weren't that, and both the general and your soldiers became outlawed and were automatically condemned to death. So therefore, generals were obliged to disband their armies before entering Italy. So that takes us to 49 BC, where Julius Caesar leads a legion south over the Rubicon, casting the dice. He makes his way towards Rome, and in doing so, he deliberately broke the law on imperium, which is the right to command, which he was supposed to disband his army, and made armed conflict inevitable. Suetonius depicts Caesar as undecided as he approached a river and attributes the crossing to a supernatural apparition. It was reported that Caesar dined with these guys on the night before his famous crossing. And according to this chronicler, Caesar uttered the famous phrase, "The die has been cast." The phrase crossing the Rubicon has survived to refer to any individual or group committing itself irrevocably to a risky or revolutionary course of action, similar to the modern phrase, passing the point of no return. Caesar's decision for swift action forced Pompey, the lawful consuls, these other guys, and a large part of the Roman Senate to flee Rome in fear, and Caesar's subsequent victory in the Civil War ensured that punishment for the infraction would never be rendered. So, when I was 16, washing dishes, I read this song, it made me think about Rubicon, and in history, I looked it up, and it's been my username for various incarnations of it, whether it's 999 Rubicon or Rubicon 999. And again, I chose the 3 9s, not because they're upside down 6s, but because when you get that odometer and it clicks and it resets everything. So again, going with that theme of you make a decision in your life, and when I was that age, there were certain things that were going on in my life that I wanted to make a decision and empower myself to do things. And it was like, much like when people want to lose weight, they're like, that's it, no more sweets, no more pop, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to go forward with my life. So I've been trying real hard to adhere to that, and every time I use my username, I think of that. So again, what I'd like to know is if there's mine's pretty involved. I mean, this is a long evolution of how I came to my name. Some people just have things right off the cuff, and this wasn't something I spent years researching to come up. I have this really cool name. It's just something that kind of evolved just from liking a song, and I liked it a lot. So what I would like to know from the viewers, which I'm up to 251 now, thank you very much. What I'd like to know is there any meaning behind your name? I've been communicating with Mr. Reef 3 off and on. He's going to be coming to the States, and I don't think we're going to be able to hook up this time. I spoke with Once Bitten 360 when we were at Buckeye Battles about his name, and if he wants to share that with the viewership, that would be awesome. If you could put a comment down below, anybody who's watching this, put a comment down below. Need not be as long as mine. But anything. Like some of the ones that come off the top of my head, I keep thinking of Thunder. Oh, my light just went out. I keep thinking of Thunderhammer. He's another one. There's Wargaming for Fun. It seems pretty self-explanatory. They're Wargaming for Fun, and if you've ever watched any of their videos, they really do Wargame for Fun. And great show, lots of tutorials. It's really cool stuff. So anyways, I digress. So that's my spiel, and I'm going to try to put this up in the next couple of minutes here. So I told you about me, I showed you mine, you showed me yours. So thanks everybody for watching. Like, subscribe if you can. My son told me always ask that. And yeah, we'll see when it comes up. Thanks for watching.